I'm saving this as another scene from controllers to constraints. Okay, we need to work on constraints. So as you know, coming to constraint, we have majorly parent constraint, point constraint, orient, scale, aim, and pole vector. Okay, these are the 6 types. So parent constraints, it locks, transform, translate, and translate and rotate value when it comes to parent constraint. Point constraint, it will lock only translate. Orient constraint will lock only rotate. Scale constraints will lock scale. Aim constraint is for the eye controller, and pole vector is for the elbow or knee controller. Okay, so we'll start working on it. Now what I want is, when I move my curves here, I want my hand to move like this. It should move like this. Okay, this is what I want. So what I'll do, select the pole vector, select the controller. I'll go to constraint, point constraint, make sure maintain offset on. Under point constraint, maintain offset on, add. So what happens now, I can select the controller. Okay. Okay, it's like select the controller, select the pole vector, constraint, point on. Yeah. So it's like, like first you need to select the controller. Okay. First select the controller, shift, select the IK handle, go to constraint, point constraint with maintain offset on. Now what happens? We are giving the influence of IK handle to the controller, to the curve, so that animators will select the curve and they'll do the animation. Okay. Now I'll do the same thing. I'll do the same thing for this. First select the controller, shift select the IK handle, constraint, point constraint with maintain offset on. Now see, it's working fine. Now similarly, okay, point constraint, here it is done. I think rest all seems to be, orient constraint. Rest remaining, whatever is there, everything is orient constraint. So what I'll do is, first thing, I'll select the okay, jaw controller. What I want is the jaw controller, when I rotate like this, I want the jaw to rotate like this. Okay, I want the jaw to rotate like this. So this particular joint I need to make. So I select this curve controller, jaw controller, shift select the joint. Select this, shift select the joint, the jaw one joint, constraint, orient constraint with maintain offset on. Orient is for only rotation purpose. Now you can see it's rotating. See, it's rotating. Okay. So I select this. When I rotate, it's rotating like this. I think it's okay. Now for the next neck part, same thing. I select this and I select this joint, constraint, orient constraint with maintain offset on, so that when I rotate, see, when I rotate, I can rotate the neck like this. Okay. So then coming to the clavicle part, these are the two clavicle controller which we have created, only controller. When I rotate this, I want this joint to rotate like this, like this. Okay. So I select this controller, shift select the joint, constraint, orient, same way select this and this, constrain, orient, constrain. Okay. Now coming to this part. When I rotate this curve, I want this joint to rotate. That means I want this sort of rotation. Okay. So select this curve, select this joint, constrain, orient, constrain. This is a very simple way of doing rigging actually. Select this and this, constrain, orient, constrain. Select this and this, constrain, orient, constrain. Select this and this joint, constrain, orient. Here, there is a catch. There are three different joint here. So one, the spine joint, one, the hip joint, and another one, the cog joint. There are three different joint. So what I have to do, this one is for the hip joint. So what you have to do, select the curve, select this joint, that is hip joint, constrain, orient. So now when I rotate this, I need hip rotation like this. When I select and rotate this, I need spine rotation like this. Okay. Now next thing, select this one. All these are orient constraints so far what I have done. So now I select this one and shift select this one, not this. Shift select this, not this. Basically, I need to select the curve and I need to select the cog joint. So you can press, select this one and select any one joint, press up arrow. So that cog joint will be selected. Go to constraint. Now this is parent constraint because I want translate and rotation both. So maintain offset on, under parent, add. So what happens? I can move and I can rotate as well. Whereas these things, I can only rotate. This doesn't work for movement. Movement doesn't work. Okay. So this is what we have done so far. Any doubts up to here?
No, sir.
Okay, Linda. Now coming to this area. So you remember, like we have hidden the reverse foot joints. So shift control H is for unhide. Hide is control H, unhide is shift control H. Okay. Now what I'll do, now it is parenting part we have to do here. That means these IK handles should be child of the joints, not the reverse, for the reverse joint. Okay. If you see when I select IK handle, some joint part it is turning into pink color. That means this is a regular joint which has got influence from this IK handle. Now, if I select the black one here, this is a left reverse ankle. This is a reverse ankle, normal ankle. This black one is a reverse ankle. That's the separation details. So it's a parenting part now. So what we have to do is first is select IK handle. I want this to be child. Select IK handle, shift select this reverse ankle, press P for parenting. Do you remember you might have done this in the SEM 3 also, only the left part. Now select this IK handle, shift select reverse ball, press P for parenting. Finally select this and shift select the toe joint, press P. Okay, so that when I select the heel part, the leg is, entire leg is getting selected. See, you can do the proper movement, proper animation. Okay, then what I'll do, I want my reverse joint, reverse heel joint to be the child of leg controller. So select this leg, left leg controller, press P for parenting. Okay. Now animators will be selecting the controller and they do the animation like this. Same thing, let's repeat for the left, for the right leg also. First select the IK handle, shift select the joint, reverse ankle joint, press P for parenting. Then come to the ball part, select the ball IK handle. Okay, select reverse ball joint, press P. Same thing with the toe. Select toe IK handle and reverse toe joint, press P. Parenting done. Now heel, select the heel joint, shift select the leg controller, press P. So now this work is also done. It's like, it's done. Okay. Now is the pole vector part. So how does a pole vector will work? Since like we made this controller to be as a pole vector, I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna select ankle IK handle. Ankle IK handle, this one. So in an order only we should do. Select the controller, select the ankle IK handle. So come to constraint. So under constraint, pole vector, choose pole vector. What happens when you do that? This will do the target or direction part, means the direct part. So now this will decide on which direction the knee has to be. Okay. Select the controller, select ankle IK handle, go to constraint, pole vector. Okay. This will define the direction. Now it's fine. Now same thing we have to do for the hand part. Select this. As you know, like when you raise your hands or at least the body part, the elbow always, it will direct to the back side of the body. It won't come towards front, right? Select the controller, shift select the IK handle, IK handle, go to constraint, pole vector. What happens now? When I move this controller, the pole vector part always go to the back side. Okay. But if I bring this to front, the pole vector comes towards front. So that means always it has to be in the back side, right? So I select this. So the purpose of freezing the transformation of all these controllers in the beginning is because when I change any position, all these are changed, right? Translate values. So I can make this 0. So it will go to the standard T pose. Okay. This is T pose, character T pose. It will go to the standard T pose. So now this part is done. Now coming to this, select this and this, constraint, pole vector. I think constraint part, most of the things are done. Okay, one thing I have to do here. So it's like I need to move this or okay, let it be. What if I can rotate this to a bit? So in this case, I select this, shift select this this joint, orient constraint. So what happens when I rotate this? What if I rotate this? That's okay. Fine. Let's see. I think this part is done. I think all the constraints are done. Now next step is save scene as. Constraints are done. Grouping and parenting. This is one of the very important steps wherein the finalizing the rigging structure. Okay. So let's do parenting part. That means from top to bottom it should go. Bottom in the sense up to cog. Okay. And from bottom to cog, it's like that. I select this controller. This should be the child of this one. Press P. Now I select jaw controller. Select jaw, select this, press P. P for parenting. That means when I rotate neck, I want the jaw to be rotated. Now select the neck controller and shift select this one, press P. Now select both the clavicle controller. When we rotate this one clavicle, these joints should be rotated. When I rotate this joint, the other two should be rotated. So that's the reason. Select this and this. Shift select this controller. Press P. Now when I select this and rotate, you can see all these are rotating like this. This is how we require. Okay. Now select this controller. Select this. Press P. Select this and this. P. Select this and this. P. I think it is enough up to here till spine. See, the character will rotate and he'll bend. He'll do all that. Okay. Now, next, don't parent this from this controller to this one. Don't do that. Hip is a separate part. Okay. So you have to select the spine, then shift select the cog, spine and the cog, then press P. Okay. Okay, it's like, this is the child of this one. Okay, it's all about, like which one is a child, which one is a parent. From top, this is child of this is child of this is child of this. That's how we are doing. Okay, so now this has become child of this one. Now hip is a standalone part, hip will be child of cog directly. Select hip, select the cog, P. Okay, now this particular cog, this cog will be child of global controller. Cog will be child of global. Select this cog, select this P. Okay. Now coming to this part, these two pole vectors are child of this global controller P. Now this leg controller, the two leg controller will be child of this P. So when I select, you can see all this. Okay. Now this one, this is child of this one. Select this and this P. So yeah, it should be something like this. Now, what I'll do for time being, this one, I want this to be child of this one. Wherever this hand goes, I want this controller be there. So select this and select this P. Then select this and this palm joint P. Okay. Now remaining hand. Okay. The hand controller. Select both the hand controller. And both the hand controller to be the child of global controller. Select both the hand controller and select this P. Then select both hand pole vector, shift select this controller P. Now, when I select this, all the controllers should be the child of global controller. This is how it has to be. So now what we have done parenting. The next step is we have to do grouping. After grouping, again parenting to this. I'll tell you, controller part is done. There are two things are pending. One is bone, means one is the cog joint, another is IK handle. What we have to do is ignore the bottom part, the upper part. From here, upper part, we have to select the IK handles. So there are two different IK handle. I'm selecting the IK handle. We need to group this. Control G for group. Control G group. IK handle group. This is IK handle group. Now this IK handle group should be the child of global controller. Shift select this P. Now IK handle is also child. Only the final step is there. Select the joint, the cog joint, only cog joint, nothing else. You need to select only cog joint. Just group it. Just group the cog joint. Now here, bones group or joint group or bones group. Okay. Now this bone group is the child of global controller. Shift select the global controller, press P. Okay, press P. So I think it is done. Now when you select the global controller, everything should be turned into green. Earlier the joints were looking pink color, right? Now see, everything is in green. Now we can move this rig completely outside of the body, and you can scale it higher, scale it lower. Everything can be done. Okay, it's more flexible now. Now rig is completed. The rigging part is completed. Okay, just the eyeball work is there. I select both the eyeball. First thing what I'll do, these two eyeball are child of this eye joint. You can see an eye joint right here. Select these two, shift select this eye joint, press P. That means these two eyeballs are child of this joint. So now the purpose is wherever this joints are, is rotating, wherever this joint is rotating, automatically the eyeballs are rotating, means moving along with that. So that's what we have done. Okay, one more thing is there. I'll create a curve here. So I'm gonna place it here. I'll duplicate this minus 0.6. So there are two different curve here. I'm gonna select this, modify freeze transform. This is left, this is right eye. This is left eye. Controller. Right eye, left eye controller. Okay. Then what I'll do, I'm gonna duplicate this. I make one bigger like this. This is eye controller. Modify freeze transform. So what I'm doing is these two eye controller. Okay, before that, I'll take this eye and I'll take this this ball, this sphere. Select this, select the curve, select the eye, constraint, aim constraint, maintain offset on, Select this curve, select the eyeball, constraint, aim constraint with maintain offset on. Later, the purpose is, see, you can move the eye. By moving this, you can move the eyeball. Now these two are child of this. Select this two curve, select this curve, press P. Now select this curve, select the neck curve, press P. That means wherever the neck curve moves, the eyeball moves. And when I move this, see, the character start doing animation. Okay. So up to this much is done. So the next step, so what I'm gonna do is show none, show polygons. So I'd like to select all this. Okay, I'm selecting everything. I'm gonna merge this mesh, go to combine. I combine this. I did combine this. Select this, edit, delete by type history only for this model, then show all. So what I'm gonna do is select the character, select the cog model. Okay. Next step, select the body, select the cog joint, go to skin, bind skin, bind skin. Now we have done the rigging part. So what happens now? I can move this character completely. See? Okay, there's a tongue model here. Select this and this joint, not this. Select this and this joint. P. It's like this is the, see, how does this work? Okay, I turn off IK handle. I don't want IK handle to see now. I can turn off joints. Only curves are enough. See, for the animators, we give like this. We don't give IK handle or anything. We just turn it off. See, our character once, okay. There's a curvy movement here. That shouldn't be there. So what I'll do, I'll just enable joint. Here, forearm joint is there, this joint. This is forearm joint. I go to attribute editor. In the attribute editor, stiffness. Under joint stiffness is there. I make it 2, 2 and 2. Okay. It is 0 by default. I select the forearm joint, under joint attribute editor, under joint stiffness 2, 2 and 2. Okay. So now that bend won't be there. See, you don't have the bend. And I can, okay, the rotation part we haven't done, that we'll do now. Okay, orient constraint we have not given for the hand. Select the curve, select this curve, wrist curve, and select, shift select the wrist joint, constraint, orient with maintain offset on. Select the curve, select the wrist joint, constraint, orient constraint with maintain offset on. So what happens now? When I rotate this joint, the hand part is gonna rotate. Okay. This is elbow part. You get this. So you can see the character movement like this. You can see this movement like this. So there is another thing called skinning that we have to do. So skinning part, like we need to work on it. Okay. So this is only the hip part, this one. Only hip will rotate like this. This is whole cog. It's like this. The character will bend, he'll go back, do all that. Okay. Now the leg part, the character does the animation. Okay. All those things, it can be done. So some skinning part is there that we can do. Okay. Any doubts? Lindelwa, Lindo?
No, sir.
Okay, this is more of technical part. Rigging is truly technical. Okay. So if you miss a single step, you will not get the output. Rigging will not work. Okay. So just just watch the video carefully and do this step by step. And if you do a 2-3 characters rigging, you can make a showreel in rigging. Okay. So Try to complete this. We'll have one more session for rigging. Then we'll be starting animation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try to complete this. See you on the next class.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Is it more for you? Is it is it understandable, or there are a lot of challenges to learn? I just want to know from you all.
Yes, it's very challenging, this one.
It's very challenging. So just learn step by step. Okay. So I know rigging part is a bit complex. But you know what? Rigging artists are paid more in industry. Just try. Okay. So at least 2-3 characters, that would suffice. You can make a good show reel.
Okay.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.